we are talking about AI broadly, and we are talking about one of the largest democracies in the world, 1.4 billion people. So, Carl, starting with you, you do close to $500 million revenue in India. You are reaching out to every other person in India selling your device. How do you look at AI at the scale at a country like India, and what's the feedback you are getting from users?
I think we got to be really careful because we're in the consumer business, right? We're selling a product. People use their hard-earned money that they pay tax on to buy our product. I know the tech industry and investors are very excited about AI and all that it can bring, but for the regular consumer, we got to take it step by step, right? So, for instance, in our industry, in consumer tech in general, we all see a common future where the operating system will be significantly different from the one we use today. It will be personalized, it will be agentic, but the reality is the consumers are not really asking for that. When you look at why consumers buy a product like a smartphone, some of it is due to social validation. You know, if I buy an iPhone, I'm a part of a certain class of people. But the camera, the battery, those things are still very, very important. So as we're building AI features into our products, we really just have to be sure that people can find utility in the product. Most people, they only understand, they only began to use ChatGPT as an app, right? So it's about finding product market fit at each stage of the journey, knowing where the future vision is, but also iterating step by step with our users.
And Raj, and we'll come back to you, Carl, on that. And Raj, if you can quickly introduce the company, because for the context, and then we'll go into it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Zaggle is a B2B SaaS fintech company. We basically deal in payments plus software. So there are two things which we do. One is provide software to companies and then enable a payment instrument for them to transact. And that's our primary business. We are in India roughly about 700 million in valuation, roughly about $350 odd million in revenue, and planning to go global very soon.
And what kind of customers you usually have?
So we have like all the enterprise customers, so we have to be extremely careful. You can lose a consumer, but a customer, if you lose, is a big problem, especially with the number of enterprises there are. And they're very finicky, and we have to be very, very careful as to how AI will be used, within the premise of an enterprise.
And are they asking AI? So that's my next question.
So for us, they are definitely asking AI. Cost reduction is always, a big focus. Improving productivity is very important. And what we are seeing is tremendous uptick in terms of agentic AI. And especially, there is supply chain. On the supply chain side, you have to do a three-way, invoice matching. Sometimes you have to ensure that all your inventory is in process. All of those things are today, taken care by agent, and you can have like millions of agents running various tasks. Okay, typically for us, when humans act, they can possibly look at maybe 2 or 3, set of information at one time. But with agents, they can do like millions of bits of information they can put together in the shortest possible time.
And Carl, you mentioned a very interesting thing, right? While we think about AI the way we want to think, but sometimes consumers don't care. They don't want to care about it, right? They want the output at the end of it, right? So I'm not sure how many number of devices you are like selling in India, but what's the feedback, the data you are collecting, the behavior you are seeing? So how are you looking at integrating that behavior into your product decision making? Or there's no sense of this conversation, the sentence I said, and does not matter?
Maybe I can share one of our ideas,
Sure.
how we're approaching it. So if we have this vision of a operating system that's one-to-one, like today, Android is for 3 billion people.
Sure.
iOS is for 1 billion people. In the future, everybody will have their own personalized operating system because we're all different people.
Yeah.
We have different goals in life. We're different personalities. Okay, it's a very foreign concept, right? So how do we get there step by step? So one of the first things we did end of last year was we launched a platform called Essential Apps. Essential Apps allows anybody with an idea for an app to use natural language to describe it and then deploy it onto their phones. So that's step one, right? You got to manually tell the system what you want, and you got to manually place it onto your phone. You can also share it for other people to manually place it on their phone. But once we collect enough data about what people want to manually place on their phones, then we can start automatically suggesting, based on your usage, we think you should be placing these kind of things on your phone. And then once we're able to, get that user journey working well, then we don't have to ask anymore, because once we're certain about what people want on their phones, we can just automatically place it. So I think, if you have a longer term idea of where for instance, operating system is going, it's important to, at least we think it's important to take it step by step. This is kind of just one example of how we're approaching this problem.
And Raj, I want to touch upon the government policy because especially you are in fintech, which is very regulated in India, right?
Yep.
So what's the stance of RBI or government at large? Because responsibility is also a key parameter here, right? And ethical AI, and we talk about all the good stuff, right? So what, in your interactions with all the right regulators, how are they looking at AI? Are they excited about it? Is it just a tool? Are they clueless about it? Like, how are they looking at it?
So, it's very interesting. So if you look at, our governing body, especially, the Reserve Bank of India, the amount of AI they are using in actually selecting applications and giving out licenses is tremendous. I think, in my opinion, there is a AI in RBI.
Wow.
Is how, I would do it. And, compliance and governance are two important pillars of any business. And AI, you have to ensure today, it can little bit hallucinate, it can do a lot of other things which you don't want. So if you have a human in the loop, okay, and that is a very important concept, especially for AI at this stage. Over a period of time, as models develop, it becomes smarter, it would be easy. But today you definitely require a human in the loop along with AI.
So it's like a AI sandwich,
Yeah.
like AI human AI or human AI human, because kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
But you cannot do it without a human intervention.
You can do so. There are two things. Okay, one is a task. Okay, AI is fantastic while doing a task, but if it's a decision, okay, you can't rely purely and 100% on AI that whether a decision should be taken or no. There is where you would require a human in the loop, to be able to take a decision. So AI is extremely good if you tell that okay, this is the task which needs to be done, and that's what a lot of agentic AI is doing. But wherever a decision has to be made, you still need to, maybe put the human alongside AI.
And one more question from you because you're on the B2B side.
Yeah.
Are the enterprises ready and the teams ready?
I actually thought that enterprises would be the last people to adopt and adapt AI, but contrary to my thinking discussions, I am seeing that there is a phenomenal uptick in terms of enterprises taking the AI route. A lot of enterprises today are coming and asking, so I want to file I want my employees to file their expenses. So is there a way that your system would be able to just take the image of the receipt and go ahead and file the expense? And everything there is like pure agentic. So that is the kind of ask which we are having from enterprises.
And Carl, for you, as you scale more in India now, so and I know AI is more of a enabler rather than a end goal. For next 2 years or 3 years of product development or product roadmap, largely how does it fit into your internal systems? Of course, you gave a OS example, but does it expand beyond that, or that's good enough to start with?
Yeah, I think the internal part is also the most exciting part for me, because consumers, as I said, need some time to adapt and get used to it. But there's a lot of things we can do internally. Like recently, I've been doing a lot of vibe coding since January, just last month. And I think the models got really improved in December last year. So now you can do a lot more than before. Before, every prompt I gave generated more bugs than problems it solved. But now it's actually being able to help me in the product development. So what's happened is, like, things that we wanted to build for a long time that were on the back burner for a couple of years, I just built it. And I gave it to the team. I said, hey, look, I've been waiting for this feature to come out for 2 years, 3 years. Here's the prototype I built. You just go and polish it and launch it. I was speaking to a friend who runs a public consumer tech company, and they're even more evolved in the thinking. Like, they're thinking about AI agents in a more like a factory production metaphor.
Yeah.
So when the engineer goes home, they have to prepare the tasks for the AI to do over the night. And at Friday evening, they have to prepare what the AI does over the weekend. So it's like, how do I keep the production running 24/7 for software development? I think that's where we also need to go to really maximize the velocity of our products.
And just to double down on that, because you do manufacturing, right? And you have manufacturing factories in India, in Chennai and Noida. Uh, how are you looking at integrating AI on a manufacturing layer to optimize the cost? Because that's one of the key drivers for you. And do you like how long do you think, how many years we are away where it can come down substantially? Right now, I think it's more of introduction of AI in manufacturing. But any thoughts there?
Yeah, we haven't really started to think about AI on the manufacturing side because we use contract manufacturers, and the way we can drive better unit economics is simply by growing our scale and procurement volume. That's how the costs come down. For me, AI kind of is the contract manufacturer's job. They, when we have a new product we want to make, we do an RFP. Different factories have to bid for it. We take the best quality, best price. If they want to stay competitive in their industry, they have to enable AI.
So you are betting they all will eventually using.
Or else
start
they'll
using
be
it.
outcompeted by their competitors.
Yeah. And Raj, you work with enterprises who further, work with further vendors and, multiple people. So you are also collecting lots of data,
Yep.
right? So how does that feedback loop looks like? Because you're in a very hardcore financial ecosystem, right? So how much you rely on that feedback loop versus your own instinct or gut or algorithms which you have built over the years, and how fast can you pivot or evolve as per the needs?
So, if you really look at it, AI is into two phases. One is the application part of it. Okay, so you use the AI for the application. The other is the database, side of it, where you use the AI for data. In my assumption, in next few years, we would have dedicated LLMs or SMLs, small language models and large language models for enterprises, for their own data. So they can do a lot of analysis, crunch that data on by themselves. Today, all models which are there are basically, you are feeding to the public, and no enterprise really would want their data to be out there in the public. So eventually what will happen is, like we are building one, which is a fintech language model, okay, which is a FLM for ourselves. Okay, similarly is, what is going to be there in coming years and maybe months and years. In AI, even month is sometimes long enough.
Yep. One last question, especially from an India market POV, starting with you. You have been in consumer market for long enough, and in your previous company also, India was a key market, I guess, OnePlus, and especially Nothing. Anyone who wants to build in consumer market, looking at India, couple of pointers how to go about it, and even building from UK for India. So for sure, a lot of people who are living in India should go about it. So what's your couple of pointers?
I think we should see India as like a market that really increases your capabilities as a company. Because
It tests you.
It really tests you because the Indian consumer is very knowledgeable. Everybody knows how to find information online. So it really challenges you. Why is this price, this spec? Like other products are even better at the same price. So they're very challenging. Also in customer service, the average kind of amount of tickets from an Indian consumer is way higher than a European or American
That's a
consumer,
very interesting insight.
and the margin is lower. So if you can survive in India, if you can satisfy the user in India, I think other markets are going to be a lot easier.
Yeah, we'll record this. Someone is recording, hopefully. Yeah, Raj, anyone building in B2B enterprise or fintech space in India, how should they look at it from an AI lens now? Should it be broken down into more small agentic modules? Do we still need a 100 people team to build a B2B enterprise softwares? How do you look like a 3-year, 4-year, 5-year into it?
Sure. So, to be very candid, one a capitalist view and one a socialist view. We are 1.4 billion people, 20% of the world's population. Our GDP is about 4 billion, which is like 4% of the overall GDP of the world, which is roughly about, take or here or there, 100 trillion. And we are just at about 4 trillion. So for us, it's a big problem in India. Because if too much of AI gets adopted in India, there will be job losses, and India really cannot take job losses at this point of time. So, while on one way we are very happy that AI is improving productivity, we are becoming more competitive, but at the other end, Indian government has to go on and take, do more social security and put a lot of good money just to take care of the welfare of people. So which in my opinion is not a great thing for any capitalist economy. And India is at the center where it can neither go here nor go there. So it's a tight spot right now.
You have to balance it
And
out.
to balance it out. And AI, to be very candid, is not going to help things.
Interesting takes. Thank you, folks. You have been a okay audience. I'll be very candid. I'm a media guy. No, you have been a great audience. Thank you for listening. And Carl and Raj are around if you want to catch up with them. Thank you.
Thank you.